To the latest episode of Koi Cubed. I hope you're doing well in all of this madness. I am still under self-quarantine. I'll be here for the foreseeable future. It is quite the time out there. I have decided on this rainiest of days worldwide to start Community. So I'm going to be talking about Community, the concept, and the show. I literally just watched episode 2, so I am now with all you Community zealots. But news-wise, I want to talk about Wonder Woman 84, it moving to August, what that means for the year of cinema, what that means for movies streaming versus at-home theatrically. I want to talk about basically all of the stuff that got moved to streaming because there is a whole bunch going over to streaming. I want to talk about the Mandalorian Season 2 cast, which is enormous and growing every day. We just got announced that Michael Biehn is also joining, as well as Rosario Dawson, which is very, very exciting news. There is so much to talk about, so I want to kick it off with Wonder Woman 1984. Now, Wonder Woman 1984 is a movie that got delayed once already. It is already a year later than we wanted it to be. It is already a movie that deserves the primest of prime slots of the year, and I think that this August spot absolutely makes sense. I'm very much hoping the world is in a more stable place, a safer place, a better place by August, and I think this is a great showing from Warner Brothers' part with how much they trust this movie, how much they know the fans are there, how much they know we want it. I'm worried that August is still going to be scary. I'm worried that August is still going to be in dire straits with where everything is, but this does give me hope. This does give me something to look forward to. I'm personally very, very excited that we are not getting Wonder Woman on a streaming service. As much as I love having access to all this content, there is plenty of content to be had, and movies deserve to be seen theatrically. I see every single thing I can in theaters. I went and saw Michael Bay's Netflix movie in theaters. I saw it in iPic because they have a deal with Netflix. I think movies deserve to be seen big and presented in a theatrical setting. I love the experience of Community. I love the experience of watching movies alongside people. I think action is bigger. I think drama is bolder. I think comedy is funnier when it's with a community. So I personally am excited that Wonder Woman is getting a theatrical run. I was really afraid that some of the rumors were going to be true, that we were going to get a HBO Max or some sort of DC streaming Wonder Woman 84. I'm very, very happy that this is the situation we are going to be getting. So that said, I think August is the best bet because I think June is too soon. I don't know when Black Widow is going to get its slate. I do feel like that's going to get moved maybe later, maybe after August. Wonder Woman might make it out in theaters before Black Widow does at this rate. But Wonder Woman, the first one, that really changed DC. If you imagine seeing the No Man's Land scene at home for the first time. Imagine not getting that experience of what the No Man's Land impact and power and gravitas. It's a theatrical experience, so I am very excited to see it there. And I think seeing it, a third and fourth time at home, that's a different story. I think the more we can keep the theater alive, the better. Later on in this episode, I want to talk about a quote that Christopher Nolan gave this week about keeping the theater alive. He did an op-ed for the Washington Post. I agree with each and everything he says in this op-ed. I'm only going to read a couple select quotes, but it's exactly how I feel about the movie theater. I saw in the live chat someone say they want New Mutants on Disney+. I respect your opinion. I personally disagree. I want New Mutants to be in theaters as well. I've already waited 2 years. I'm willing to wait 2 more. I think that's going to be another movie that I'm going to enjoy more with people. I can't have 200 people in my place. I'm not that rich. I want to see it right. So I think that this is the way to do it. I think New Mutants is another movie that is poured passion into. I think that, Josh Boone loves these characters. These actors played these characters. This movie got kicked around so many times. It's the last Fox Marvel movie. It's of that era. It's the last Fox movie with mutants in it, so I want to see it properly. So I'm really excited. I personally don't want any of these movies that are getting pushed around to get this way. I do think movies that got a shorter theatrical window, those that already came out in theaters that they're putting out on streaming, that makes sense. There's a lot of VOD movies, such as, The Invisible Man and Onward, that are getting a VOD push because of the timing. That to me is a different story. They got their 1 or 2 weekends in theaters. It's a bummer, but at least there was an opportunity to see them in theaters. Bloodshot's a tricky one because that's a comic book movie that only had a few days before all the madness, but I completely see them wanting to get it out, and that did the tracking they expected for it. That movie got the theatrical push they were thinking it would, and then they released it on VOD. So I think that's a different story. So Wonder Woman 84 officially coming out in August. It released a bunch of new posters. I love the new posters. I think the imagery of this movie looks gorgeous. I could not be more excited for it. I do think this is the right move. I'm very happy for Patty Jenkins. I'm very happy for Gal Gadot. I am elated we are getting a Wonder Woman theatrical release. So, I'm going to check on the live chat here, see what you guys think. Also, if you haven't checked out the posters, they are absolutely stunning. I am so thrilled with the way this movie looks. It is like this 80s pop flourish, but with this artistic... The posters look like literal art. So excited. Now, this having an August release date, its main competition is going to be Tenet, which is July 17th. So, about 2-3 weeks before. This comes out August 14th. Tenet is mid-July, so about 3 to 4 weeks in between. So, it should be okay. We'll check on that. Now, over in the live chat, you guys are saying, hello, nice to see you too. Trolls 2, yeah, I did hear about that mess. That's actually one of the things we're talking about today. Heather, I completely agree. Waiting to see it in theaters. Waited 10 years. Iron Man 2 was 10 years ago. It is overdue we get a Black Widow movie. I am waiting. I am seeing it in theaters. I completely agree. Geeky Gator, hundreds of millions of dollars. Absolutely. $90 a pop for the Mayweather fight. And that's true. That made $400 million. That's a perfect example. $90 a pop, that's $400 million. These movies need to make so much money because what you put into it is hundreds of millions of dollars. They need to make hundreds of millions out. I don't want budgets to suffer because everything goes to VOD and streaming. I don't want the style of cinema to change. I like independent and mid-budget films getting to get a theatrical run because of how much money these giant tentpoles make. I think there's a delicate balance in the ecosystem of cinema where superhero movies, Leonardo DiCaprio movies, there's certain movies that get hundreds of millions of dollars, and those movies in 5 screens allows for the mid and indies to have 1 or 2 screens. I feel like that's something Scorsese didn't take into account when he was getting mad at movies liking the cinema of superhero. They need the balance to keep them all alive. It's expensive to run a movie theater. You've got to pay your employees, you've got to pay your distributors, you've got to pay your advertisers, you've got to pay your concession. You need the big blockbusters as well as the indies to keep the balance. So we need these movies out there. I think they're completely vital for the actual landscape of movies. Everyone asking how I'm doing. I'm doing great. I'm staying inside. I'm self-quarantining. I am keeping as sane as possible. And Scott Welsh, I agree. There is so much content. There is not a necessity to get the big budget movies rushing to theaters. They deserve to be seen in their proper setting, which is the theater. So, August 14th, we are getting Wonder Woman. If you haven't seen the new posters, check those out. If you haven't seen the motion posters on Twitter, they're absolutely gorgeous. They are some staggering pieces of art. So I'm very excited. This is exactly the outcome I was hoping for. So let's move on from Wonder Woman over to the Mandalorian casting. Later on in this episode, I will be talking about Trolls and all of the streaming stuff. But for now, let's talk about Mandalorian. Mandalorian Season 2 added 2 incredible cast members this week. Now, I love Mandalorian Season 1. It is what I feel like Star Wars is. It is the classic practical effects meets warm heart of space opera adventures. It is everything I wanted a Star Wars experience to be. I love The Mandalorian, and it had Bill Burr in it, so that's an extra little treat for me. Mandalorian Season 1 reminded me what it was like to be a Star Wars fan before the fandom got the way it got. I consider the Star Wars fandom a very delicate fandom. I generally don't talk about Star Wars because it does not feel like a welcoming place. I know there's lots of very welcoming Star Wars fans, but overall Star Wars is a very aggressive fandom, and I don't know enough to speak to it. I don't know Star Wars like I know Spider-Man. I don't know Star Wars like I know Batman. I don't know Star Wars like I know comics, so I can't begin to invest in that world with the fandom the way it is. But The Mandalorian felt welcoming. It felt like a warm blanket. It felt like I was going home, and I loved it. So, with all that said, every single thing I've heard about The Mandalorian sounds better and better. Jon Favreau's tweeted some images that I love. I can't wait to see the Darksaber, but my big 2 both happened this week. This week we found out Michael Biehn and Rosario Dawson are joining the cast of Season 2. And not only that, but Rosario Dawson is playing Osaka Tano. Now, I don't know this character that well. I'm going to be straight up. I haven't seen the Clone Wars. I don't know this character, but everyone's passion for this character. Osaka has this legend. Osaka has this giant reputation, and arguably seeing people on the internet hate on strong female characters kind of shows me who they are as people. So a lot of people that I respect defended this character when certain other people attacked this character. So to me, this is a character that is made for Star Wars. And Rosario Dawson is one of the most badass women ever. I love her work. I love her as a person. She's a diehard comic book nerd. She's an actual, sweaty. She's one of us. So her playing this character makes me more excited to discover this character. And how cool is it that we have Clone Wars characters from the animated series coming over into live action? How cool is it that these legacy characters, these big pieces of the side mythology are going to be in The Mandalorian? That to me is exactly, it's a giant, it's a galaxy far, far away. It's an entire galaxy. So this is exactly what I want out of The Mandalorian. I could not be more excited. I think this is exactly the right move. So I can't wait to see Rosario Dawson, who is smart, capable, badass, a nerd, playing this character. I can't wait to discover her through this. Very, very excited. And then Michael Biehn, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's not like Sean Bean. It's Biehn. Michael Biehn, from Alien, from the 80s, from Terminator. The dude is an absolute badass. To be honest with you, before Brad Pitt was rumored and before Josh Brolin got the role, Cable is who I always saw him playing. I thought Michael Biehn would be an incredible Cable. He's got the military flavor. He's the right age now. He's grizzled. T2 is one of the greatest movies of all time. It's still one of the best sci-fi movies ever made to this day. To me, he is the badass grizzled war vet. So he's who I wanted for Cable. I don't know if he's quite big enough, but that's who I always saw, to be totally honest. Josh Brolin obviously killed it, and Brad Pitt was an incredible, the concept art is beautiful. That would have been really, really cool. But I am a huge fan of this actor. So seeing him and Rosario Dawson join the season 2 cast of The Mandalorian has me so excited. And he's confirmed. I see that in the live chat. He's going to be playing a bounty hunter, which is totally perfect. Like, he plays a bounty hunter-esque character. He plays a mercenary type. That's his type. Like, it's great. I'm so excited. So those 2 casting announcements have me real amped for Mandalorian Season 2, which is coming out in October of 2020. So that is something to look forward to this year. And that's another perfect example of The Mandalorian is the perfect scope and size for a big screen TV at home. For your 40, 50, 60, 80-inch, not 200-foot screen. I think that The Mandalorian is a great example of how we can expand Star Wars. Having Star Wars in the theater with the big tentpole movies and having Star Wars at home with stuff like The Mandalorian, that's the balance. I loved having Netflix shows at home while I had big things in the movies. I love the idea that we're getting Disney Plus that we can watch on our big screens at home and then go to the movie theaters to see those same characters in their annuals, their crossover, all of those things. That's very excited for me. So I think we can do that by having Wonder Woman in the big screen, having the small screen shows on like DC Daily. I think that's what The Mandalorian is doing in Star Wars, and it's very, very exciting. I see a couple familiar names in the live chat. We've got Garth McMurray. I saw Jake in there earlier, Jake Yacovetta, a bunch of Ride or Die Koi Pond folk. It is always an honor to have you guys in here. I'm not sure what hashtag Roxy Raid is, but does Roxy have a stream right now? If she does, hi Roxy. And if she just finished, which is maybe what the Roxy Raid is, thanks Roxy. Roxy's amazing. I gotta coordinate with her, and we were trying, right before all this went down, we were trying to scheme a team up of like me going on her show and her coming on mine, and then now we can't see people. There's quarantine. So Roxy's stream just ended. Got it. Well, look at that timing. Welcome everyone from Roxy's stream. I've talked about Wonder Woman 84, which was how I opened the show, and I just talked about The Mandalorian Season 2. That's all you've missed. I'm going to be diving into the rest of the stuff, but I do want to scheme out the rest. Let's see. Can we donate? Yeah, I got my Streamlabs, I've got my Patreon, and I've got my Venmo all linked in the, theoretically it should be in the description of this thing. Yeah, okay, if you look in the description, there's some crazy chaos about comics, but there's also some links at the top. Thank you for asking, and thank you for wanting to. That means a lot to me. Sincerely, thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to go back to the news. I'm, like I said, very excited for these movies to be getting their theatrical releases as intended, but there's also some craziness going on with the way things are getting distributed. We are getting a lot of movies having shorter theatrical windows and coming out to streaming and VOD quicker. I think that is a gray area for my opinions on movie theaters. We are getting all of these movies to rent or purchase as of now, practically. A bunch of studios has changed their tune on how their movies were coming out. We are getting Trolls World Tour on April 10th. That's still being advertised as theatrical and VOD same day. There's no way that's going to happen. Movie theaters are not going to be open on April 10th. That's some tricky marketing. I don't think it's exactly fair, and a lot of theatrical distributors are upset because it's not the way things are supposed to work. This is going to undermine a lot of the spring release. So Trolls coming out on VOD April 10th is one of the more messy ones. I think NBC Universal, that's a bit of a jab at the movie theater distribution side. It's going to be messy. But on the other side, on the more positive side, I Still Believe is getting a VOD release date, which is a movie I might not have caught. It's a Lionsgate faith-based drama. But more excitingly for me, Birds of Prey got a March 24th today VOD release date. That's right. A movie that underperformed in the theater is the exact right way to do this VOD thing. That movie should have done way more numbers. Birds of Prey is a fun time in the movies. I loved Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn getting to evolve in this way. I really loved the way the dynamic worked with the team in the third act. I think there's a lot of potential for future Birds of Prey goodness. I loved Huntress. I'm a huge fan of Ewan McGregor's Black Mask. I now am reading the comic differently. It's the first time in a few movies that I've seen a portrayal so strong that it affects how I hear the comic character. Now when I hear the plain old dialogue of Ewan McGregor's Black Mask, I hear it as Ewan McGregor in the comic book. All the dialogue he was saying was very normal, but his performance was so big and bold, it influenced my Black Mask take, and that is such a fun time. So I think Birds of Prey will find a cult following on VOD. It is available on VOD right now. You can own that beast right now at home, which is incredible. Check it out. I'm very excited. I just got something in the Streamlabs to, let's see. I just saw a thing pop up. Do I think the R rating hurt Birds of Prey? I think the R rating is a tricky thing with those audiences because I think the biggest thing that hurt Birds of Prey was marketing. I think they needed to include more. I think the name change, unlike Edge of Tomorrow, helped it. I think they should have called it Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey because it wasn't a Birds of Prey movie in the traditional sense. It didn't follow the Birds of Prey comic. It didn't follow the Birds of Prey even character set. It was a Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey movie, and Harley Quinn's what you're basing it off of. So I think that was a factor. I do think that the R rating took away maybe 10 to 15% of that, but it needed to make more than 10 to 15% more to be what DC was looking for. I do think comic audiences, think about 2008 was when Dark Knight and Iron Man changed cinema forever. That was 12 years ago now. So if you are older than 6, you are 18 for Birds of Prey. To me, that's a completely fair expectation. I liked the violence. I liked the language. I liked the tone. I liked all the things it was able to do. So, for me personally, I think the R rating worked, but I do think it probably threw off some more conservative folk, maybe some people that wanted to bring their kids to it as a family. That's very possible. But I think DC distinguishing itself from Marvel by having a different tonality is a great move. I think the best way to keep the bubble from bursting is by having the different variety of tone. So, to answer your question, Preston, I think it was a factor. I don't think it was the factor. I think it was a straw on the camel's back, but not even the straw that broke the camel's back. But thank you very much for the Streamlabs. I think the R rating was a piece, but not the whole thing. I think there was a lot going on with Birds of Prey. But I do think it's going to find that cult audience now that it's at an at-home setting. I think it's a great movie to watch at home since the theatrical didn't go as well as they hoped. We also have Just Mercy, which is the Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan a drama, a courtroom drama. There's the word I'm looking for. Courtroom drama. I missed it in theaters. It came out for a theatrical push in late December. I missed it with all the Oscar stuff. I'm excited to check that out. One of my very favorite movies of the entire year. In March, there's been like 12 movies, but one of my favorite movies that I think is going to make my top 10 of the year, The Gentleman. The Gentleman is out. It is actually going to be probably my very first patron sponsored review. One of my tiers on Patreon is to do full-on reviews of movies. I'm going to do like a 15 to 20 minute breakdown of The Gentleman as suggested by one of my patrons at that tier. I'm very excited. I'm going to be diving into The Gentleman, checking it out, and then reviewing it for you guys on my YouTube. So I'm going to have that available for patrons only, and then a week later on my YouTube. I'm very excited because I thought The Gentleman was inspired. I loved the tone. I loved the pacing. I loved the language. You'll see in the review. I'm a big fan of The Gentleman. I love Guy Ritchie. The Way Back, Ben Affleck's drama about alcoholism and basketball. Very good film. Brilliant performance by Ben Affleck. That is available on VOD today. And finally, today, Bloodshot. Vin Diesel's comic book from Valiant is available today, and I missed it. This came out about 9 days before all the quarantine was mandatory, about 4 days before I self-quarantined. So I didn't make it out in those 4 days before I locked myself in. So I missed it. I'm excited to check out Bloodshot. I'm excited to see what Valiant is doing. Also, I talked to you guys last week about all the NBC Universal stuff. We had The Invisible Man, Onward, Emma, and The Hunt all get announced. 3 of those from NBC Universal, obviously Onward from Disney. Those are all available right now, but Onward is going to Disney Plus on April 3rd. So starting in April 3rd, you can watch Onward with your Disney Plus subscription. I'm going to do a review of Onward later in this episode. If you've seen it, I hope you dig it. I dug it. I'm excited to talk about it with you. And The Lovebirds, Kumail Nanjiani's new film, the one where they are caught up in a crime they've just met. I do not know the actress, Issa Rae. I really, really liked her in something recently, but I don't know her other work, and it's blanking right now. But Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani, it got picked up by Netflix because of the theatrical shuttering of all movie theaters. So that is going to be available on Netflix starting on April 3rd. So April 3rd, you have Onward and Lovebirds to look forward to on streaming. So silver lining in all this madness is we're missing some movies from the theater, but we are getting them sooner on VOD, and now with the glory of Wonder Woman going to theater, I'm less terrified of the loss of movie theater altogether. So Little, that's what she was in. Thank you, live chat. She was in Little, and I really, really liked Little. She was fantastic in that. So yeah. All right, back over to... I'm trying to do live chats in between stories as much as I can. Everyone seems to be excited about all of these things coming to streaming. People seem to be excited about Birds of Prey. Does Coy ever worry about sitting on his pillows? No, that's what they're for. I've got a whole medley of this madness. I thought they'd be a really funny background prop, so I'm using them. There's like 8 of these guys. They were all around my house, but now that I live in a much smaller place, they're all consolidated right here. I see them as... inspiring, because this is like where I want to be, right? Like these are the achievement level. Like I want that level of status. This is where I want to land. So these dudes inspire me to work harder. I wake up, I see success, and I go for it. It's some weird Tony Robbins shit. Who's the next actor you want on a pillow? Ooh, that's a great question. While I'm looking at the live chat, I would love, man, I think Idris Elba, like with that Civil War regalia, would be rad. I think he'd be a good addition to these gents. I'm a big Idris Elba fan. I've been thinking about it a lot with all the COVID-19 stuff going on. Scott Welsh, that does sound darker than it is. And Christine, welcome. Even late, thank you for joining. Okay, I'm going to get back to the news. And like I said, I'm going to try to jump over back and forth into the live chat. But if you guys have any questions you want to ask, Streamlabs and Super Chats, I get notifications on, so I can definitely make sure not to miss those. I'm checking my Streamlabs right now. And also, just thanks for subscribing. I also see like new subscribers every time I click over here, and that makes me so happy. It means the world. Thank you guys very much for joining. We also, this week, need to talk about comic book size stuff. Now, okay, comic books. Diamond Distributors is the big distributor for Marvel, DC, Image, a lot of the big houses. Diamond is arguably a monopoly on the comics of the mainstream. I'm worried for the first time about comic book stores because I think they're going to be closed for longer than they can sustain. Comic book stores are struggling. Comic books are doing better than I think a lot of people think. Because they can maintain, but comic book stores are independent businesses. They're small businesses. If you can, while everything is under, if your comic book store offers gift cards, a great way you can support them and be safe is buying a gift card, because that'll still be your money. That'll still be all of the things you'd get from it later, but you're keeping your store open because they need that money now more than ever. So if you've got a pull list and the store reopens in May, the money you put towards it now is just it's gonna be sitting there in May, but it'll help them stay alive until May. Like, a gift card is a great placeholder to help out comic stores. So Diamond Distributors said they're not going to accept any new shipments. So that means that and it makes sense from a business standpoint. I understand. If you've got nowhere to ship those comics because the stores are closed, it makes sense to not receive shipments. But this is the first time Diamond has done this. This is the first time we're not going to have comics being printed and distributed. And that is really scary. I like digital as a supplemental way to read comics. When I'm out of room for comics, that's what I do. I read them digitally. But I like comics in print. I think that's the medium they deserve to be in. That's where they belong. Comics are a print medium. So to me, it's really scary that Diamond, the distributor of them, has decided to halt everything, and I get that. I totally understand, but to me, this is concerning. So as the story develops, I'll keep you guys posted as they give an estimate on how long that's going to be, as comic book stores have to make changes and adjustments. But if you guys can, gift cards are a great way to keep them alive. Direct shipment is a little trickier, but I think that is the best thing we can do for comic book stores. Support your local stores, support your local restaurants. I'm only leaving my house once a week. I'm getting groceries for like 8 or 9 days, and that way I've got a couple day wiggle. And then when I go to do Koicast, which I'm being very safe about, I'm going and doing all my errands. So I went to my favorite restaurant in LA, Salsa and Beer, yesterday on my errands day. And then I'm not going out again till next Monday. So support your local restaurants, the ones you care about, you want to keep open. Support your comic stores. Support the things you care about. Corporate America's fine. They're getting bailed out left and right. Big stores are fucking fine. Local stores, mom and pop shops, independent stores. Support what you can. Support what you care about. It's really important, especially right now. The world's fucked. All right. So on the plus side, on the positive side, on the more uplifting side, ComiXology, which is a great place to read digital comics, is extending their 30-day free trial to 60 days. If you are a new member of ComiXology, you can have 2 months of free ComiXology. Now, this is amazing for a bunch of reasons. One, now is the best time to read comics, man. It is, we're all locked in. There's a ton of stuff to read. It's a great thing to do. Reading helps your brain work. It gives you dopamine, gives you endorphins. You can dive into these stories. You can take your time more. You can spend time with each panel. You can like daydream. You can imagine. You can like feel the power of comic books right now in a way you usually can't because there's less distractions. It's a great time to be reading comics. ComiXology is giving you 2 months of comic books, man. It is giving you so much to just dive into. So joining ComiXology, Why the Last Man is on there. There's a bunch of Saga on there. They've got a borrow system where you can borrow like a library. They've also got, obviously, comics to buy. You can have an entire setup. One of the ways I have comics is through ComiXology. ComiXology is an incredible program. 60 days, free trial. I'm very appreciative of them. This isn't a paid ad. It sounds like one, but I'm very appreciative of them doing that right now when we all need that more than most. So I'm excited about ComiXology. As much as I'm worried about Diamond, I am taking a drink because I've been talking for 30 minutes straight. Okay, let's see what the live chat has to say. Coy, who am I in Star Trek Into Darkness? I was a bunch of the aliens. I'm the Nibberins. Me and a few other actors. Me, Jeremy Raymond, and like 6 other dudes played all of the white aliens in that opening planet. We were all white, and like it was like a native planet with red plants, and I'm naked. We're all in like white paint. But like they cloned me a few hundred times. So I got mocapped, I got cloned. I was in about 12 hours of makeup every day. It was an honor. I was actually in the first 2 movies to shoot dialogue on IMAX cameras because I was in Dark Knight Rises as well. So back when I was an actor, there was this 6-month window and I was like, I'm in both IMAX movies. And I was like, my career's made. That's not how acting works. Your career is never made. But it was a really cool time. I definitely am honored to be in the Star Trek universe, and I'm honored to be in Dark Knight as well. So I was in those 2 flicks, and I was a Nibberin in Star Trek, which was an absolute incredible time. Okay. And also my buddy Brewster, I mentioned Brewster all the time on other shows, not in this show. He was Daredevil, like the hallway fight. Like as soon as the mask went on, that was Daredevil. He was also Cap and Winter Soldier. He was one of the Nibberins with me. Chris Brewster is one of the best stuntmen in the world. He's incredible. He needs more love. Man needs an Oscar. Stunt people need Oscars, and Brewster needs one in particular. Much of the Marvel Universe is Brewster. All right. People that are usually sweating the library, I see a few of you saying the library is usually where you get comic book from, but they're closed. Totally understand. Try ComiXology. 60 days, free, and you can borrow books. It is a great asset. Also, a lot of libraries have a digital wing, and you can rent from there as well. So that's worth trying out, and it's definitely worth, investing in that time. Okay, let's see. Oh, we got another super chat from Preston. What have I been reading and watching? That is a fantastic question. I am having a very hard time focusing, Preston, on media. I have a decent amount of anxiety as a human, but right now with the world being what it is, my anxiety is a little higher. So to be honest, I watched the Dark Knight trilogy, and that was very, very intense. Because the third movie, I forgot they're under quarantine. I was like, this is too real. So it actually took me multiple days to get through Dark Knight. My attention wasn't there, and I like to give movies my all. I like to be focused. I try not to multitask when I watch movies, and that's really hard right now. So I struggled with that, but I watched the Dark Knight trilogy, which was an incredible rewatch. I did a live tweet along a week ago with Dark Knight, and it was so much fun. So I'm going to try to do a watch along with you guys next time I'm feeling stir crazy. I'm probably just going to go live on YouTube. So subscribe. Excuse to say that. Subscribe here, and then one day I'm just going to do a watch along, and we'll do a comic book movie, and I'll do a whole commentary with you guys watching something. I'm going to figure it out. But I also watched all of High Fidelity, which I want to talk about later in this episode. High Fidelity on Hulu is absolutely incredible. It's the first show I've binged in a very, very long time. I've really enjoyed it. I'm rereading Y the Last Man. I feel like an apocalypse is a fun time to read that story. So I'm reading Y the Last Man. I'm finally caught up on my comic books. I read 3 weeks of comics in 2 weeks throughout this madness. So I've been quarantined for 13 days. I've read all of my March books. I am up to date. So tomorrow when new comic books drop, I'm going to be reading a ton of comics digitally because my store's closed. But I'll be reading a bunch of comics tomorrow, so I'm keeping up on that. I'm also reading a self-help kind of book written by Dave Hollis, and he's a guy that's cynical about self-help, and so am I. And it's a self-help by way of he was a Disney exec. He was in sales at Disney, and him talking about things that have really helped him get into meditation and living better and all those things. So I'm reading that book by him as well. So Dave Hollis's book, which I'm hoping I can just see, but I don't see it in front of me. Dave Hollis's book, a ton of comics. The graphic novels I'm reading are Y the Last Man. Movies that I'm watching are currently fairly scattered, but I did watch all the Dark Knight ones. And then I finished High Fidelity, which I'm going to review later in the episode, and I just started Community. So a fair amount of content bouncing around, and then also running as much as I can. I've been running every day, and that's been really helping my brain. Does ComiXology do sponsored ad reads? Maybe the Pawn could tweet them to be a sponsor for Coycast. Yo, if you want to clip that out and send that to ComiXology, I would be very, very indebted to you. Thank you for that idea. Scott, I'm not mad at it. Please, tell them I could use some sponsored ad reads. And you guys watch this for comics, so it's not like I'm the wrong audience for it. I think it's a great opportunity. Thank you, Scott. Much obliged. And I hope that answered your question, Preston. And anyone else that has questions, please, Super Chats are amazing, Streamlabs are amazing, Venmo's amazing, and those are all linked up in my little description. Back to the news. We also got this week some more good news. I'm trying to find the good news in all of the craziness. Some more good news. I'm trying to make Koi Cubed a place for whatever positive news there is with little morsels of fear and anxiety. Good news this week. Jake Johnson, Peter B. Parker himself, is leaving kids voicemails, which is the cutest shit. Kids are out of school because the world's a mess, and they're home with their parents. Parents are going crazy. Kids are going crazy. Jake Johnson is leaving them voicemails as Spider-Man, as Peter B. Parker. That is the most Spider-Man thing ever, to leave voicemails. That is delightful. That is adorable. That is just powerful use of celebrity. That is making people happy just with your own voice. That's the point of success and fame to me, is the ability to make someone happy by you existing. Jake Johnson using his success to make kids talk to Spider-Man, to make kids feel they connected with Spider-Man is the point, and it is amazing. It's everything. It's everything I want. I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to make this about me. I was an actor, and I was going crazy with repetition. Repetition drives my brain crazy, and I worked on a David Fincher movie, and there was one day we did 37 takes, and I was like, man, I don't know if I love this as much as I used to. And then a couple years later, I did a thing about Deadpool, and within 2 days of talking about Deadpool over on Screen Junkies, much love to Screen Junkies, it was a video called Please Explain Deadpool about 6 years ago. So long ago that no one knew who Deadpool was, to the point where I was considered the expert, because I've known Deadpool for a long enough time. I've actually talked about Deadpool to other actors before the movie was even moving. Like, Deadpool's been my guy for a long time. Oh yeah, look at that. So when I talked about Deadpool and Screen Junkies, within 2 days I was on the street and a kid came up to me and was like, hey, that thing you said about Deadpool, that's what I like about Deadpool. And I was like, holy shit, 1, you're too young to know Deadpool. 2, I'm connecting with the people. That's what I wanted out of acting, was connecting to people. So that's why I got into hosting. And this is what this is. Like, there's almost 100 of you in this live chat. I'm talking to a ton of you about stuff we all care about. That's connectivity, that's humanity, that's community, that's life. That's what we're learning we're missing in this whole pandemic. Introvert or extrovert, I think it's really important to have connection of some kind. However you're comfortable, whatever that connection is, but I think it's really important. So connecting to you guys is why I got into hosting, why I get into comic book commentary, why I kind of left behind that acting world, because I like this a lot. So thank you for joining me. Thank you, Jake Johnson, for being an absolute sugar precious baby. And I'm very excited. And I see Garth in the chat saying that I should check out Stumptown. I have not, and it is based on a comic book, and I love Kobe Smulders, so I will absolutely be checking that out on my run. I'm going to do Community, because I need the escapism. I'm going to do The Good Place, because I've never seen it, and that seems like good escapism. I'm told that I need to watch Schitt's Creek, and I'm going to put some dramas in there, too. I can't all be, like, comedy sitcom-y. That's not my usual tempo, so I'm gonna mix in some other stuff, but those are the big 3 I've got right now. So I'll put Stumptown in there to balance it a little bit. My favorite Deadpool run, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It is about Deadpool in North Korea. A bunch of people have been kidnapped, and they're using his DNA to experiment on mutants, and they're all decaying and becoming more Deadpool-like, so he recruits Wolverine and Captain America to help save these people. It's got heart, it's got comedy, it's funny in the darkest ways, it shows how much Deadpool cares. It's a very, very good run, and also, isn't it bromantic, a Spider-Man Deadpool run that kicks off the Spider-Man Deadpool comic that ran for 50 issues by Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness. Those are my top 2. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Isn't It Romantic? All right, back to the news. On the more serious side, Christopher Nolan came out with an incredible statement about how important the movie theater industry is. It is a op-ed over at Washington Post. I think it's very, very important. I agree with everything he has to say in it, because I believe the movie theater is the cornerstone of our society, and that is a big statement to say, that is hyperbolic, but I'm talking about society, I'm talking about culture, I'm talking about pop culture, I'm talking about the thing that separates us from just being a business, because goddamn if this country isn't being run like a fucking business. Movie theaters are the culture part of what we share. We all experience stuff together at the theater. We all experience art made by writers and artists and cinematographers. Like, there's so much art on screen. So to me, that's our modern day opera. That's our modern day community center, because that's so much of what we don't have. So I think movie theaters are absolutely vital. I'm not a religious man, and the movie theater is my church. It is where I gather to experience something communally with like-minded people. It is, I think, the agnostic church, and I think it's vital for this country. So I am going to do everything I can to keep movie theaters alive. And Chris Nolan similarly agrees, saying, quote, "When people think about movies, their minds first go to the stars, the studios, the glamour, but the movie business is about everybody. The people working the concession stands, running the equipment, taking tickets, booking movies, selling advertising, and cleaning bathrooms in local theaters. Regular people, many paid hourly wages rather than a salary, earning a living, the most affordable and democratic of our community gathering places." That's goddamn right. It is the most affordable and democratic of our community gathering places. I get movies are expensive. Matinees are, your $12, depending on where you live in the country. You can do like $6 Tuesdays. Nighttime movies can be like $15, $20. I get that's expensive. I totally understand. I have an AMC A-list member. That's how I afford to do as many movies as I do. But that's still cheaper than Broadway. That's still cheaper than a lot of group gatherings. That's cheaper than Disney. That's cheaper than the zoo. That's cheaper than a lot of things. It is the most democratic and inexpensive opportunity for that. That is so important to me. And that I think is his business mind speaking. He also went on to say, quote, "Our nation's incredible network of movie theaters is one of these industries, and as Congress considers applications for assistance from all sorts of affected businesses, I hope that people are seeing our exhibition community for what it really is, a vital part of social life, providing jobs for many and entertainment for all." Providing jobs for many and entertainment for all. These are places of joyful mingling where workers serve up stories and treats to the crowds that come to enjoy an evening out with friends and family. As a filmmaker, my work can never be complete without those workers and the audiences they welcome. Thank you, Chris Nolan. Thank you for saying all the things I'm trying to say more eloquently. That's why you're brilliant. I agree. It is a communal experience. It is about people. There's commerce, but there's also art, and everyone is involved, and it's vital. If you look at this pandemic we're in, right? Like, if you look at the world we're living in right now, what is the first thing we all fucking turn to? We turn to our TVs, we turn to comic books, we turn to books, we turn to art. I am so sick of this country not looking at art as having merit. I'm so sick of whenever they cut budgets, they cut the theater and music, and they cut the band, they cut the theater, all that shit first. My school, where I went to high school, they cut the theater department completely, they cut the band, they changed those rooms into other shit. I haven't used calculus fucking once since I graduated. I have used art every day of my life, and when you're in times of duress, art is your blanket. I don't care how tough you think you are. I don't care how pull up by your bootstraps bullshit you are. You need art to survive. You need art to exist as a human being. It's what separates us from the animals and our thumbs. It's so fucking important. So, I love this quote. I love what he has to say. I love the fact that when we're in this pandemic, we're experiencing a very different tone of what we're looking to, what we're experiencing. I think it's really important. I don't give a shit about a lot of industries. I don't give a shit about regressing back to coal. I don't give a shit about a lot of the things that we're supposed to care about. I care about art. I care about culture. I care about you experiencing happiness. So, thank you, Chris Nolan, for those wise words. You are appreciated. Preston's killing it in the super chats. Preston, I hope more people go to drive-ins. Preston, I totally agree. I think before we realized how bad this pandemic was, drive-ins were making a little, like, there was a hiccup of uptick. They were doing a little better. But I think that now that we're learning how aggressive it is dangerous to be at a drive-in. I would love if we got drive-ins back. Man, I would love to bring, like, a van of my friends and go experience, like, the right kind of drive-in movie. I would love to sit in an open field and watch, like, those kinds of experiences are so rare. So I would love if drive-ins came back in a big way. I would love if after all this we really appreciate the industry in a different way. So I think there's a chance. I think that the nostalgia for the 80s, and then soon I think we'll have nostalgia for the 50s, hopefully not in the more aggressive misogynistic ways, but I hope we turn back to those classic American ideals, and those American ideals, the good ones. I think there's an opportunity there. So I do think drive-ins will make a comeback. I think the last 2 weeks, people getting excited about them might help once all this settles in. Totally agree. I appreciate you once again, Preston. Much obliged. Sorry, I went on a total rant there, and seemingly people have been okay with that. Thank you, live chat, for supporting my Chris Nolan rant. Preston, not everyone has a car, but those that do and miss the theater, it is an absolutely ideal take for that exact thing. Drive-in theaters have bad sound quality, no subwoofers and dirty windshields. Oh, well, if you gotta clean your car, man. And, like, I think that's a really funny take too. Yeah, there is also the aspect of, like, I would not see Wonder Woman 84 the first time there, but I'd see it like the second time. I might see, that wouldn't be my movie of the year location, but I totally agree with the rest of what you're saying. Garth, movie theaters are my church, pray at Birds of Prey. I like that. Movie theaters are my church though, bro. Totally. Let's see what else we got here. 9% of the people go to the drive-in or get smashed while watching the movie. LOL, they stopped even trying to enforce no alcohol policy. Jake Yakavetta, drop-in knowledge. That is another perk. If you have a DD, it is a fun place to drink. Having a DD is vital. I love the drive-in for movies like Dazed and Confused and Everybody Wants Some, and those, like, day-in-the-life movies, those just, like, vibe movies, and it's fun to, like, drink at those. Have a DD, be safe, but Jake, I totally agree. That is absolutely a merit of those. Let's see. All right. Back to the news. Guys, this has been a fun live stream. I miss doing with you guys. I now have internet back. I have a little setup. I will eventually be getting this sorted out. I've actually got a full-on 4K camera that I'm going to be using, and a whole setup. I've got graphics figured out. I just need to get my stream. I think the problem is my computer itself is, it's a 5-year-old MacBook, like a MacBook, the 12-inch MacBook. I don't know if it's strong enough to get the 4K and the sound clean enough through a live stream, so I'm trying to sort that out. Also, this is from a patron. Thank you very much. I forget your first name. Brokaw is the last name. Thank you. So I'm thinking that's the issue, so I'm going to try to get that sorted out, and then we'll be doing these a little fancier. I'll be able to have comic book image graphics. I would have had the Wonder Woman 84 graphics for you guys. I'm basically trying to do this like I used to do that other show, Gyros. You know, that sandwich show I did, Gyros. I'm going to try to do that and have graphics, have imagery, have comics, have all of those things for you guys as this show develops. But for now, I didn't want to miss my Tuesday plan. I'm trying to do Tuesdays and Fridays, and now I can with this setup. So if you guys don't mind this a bit more rough and tumble setup, let me know in the comments. Let me know if this works for you guys. This is what I'm going to be doing until I get everything set up proper, but I appreciate your patience. I'll be getting all this content to you guys as much as I can. I think right now we need fireside chats more than ever. So I'm happy to be on YouTube talking to you guys because I miss communicating. I miss people, and this helps me, and I hope it helps you. So I'm right here. So we're going to be doing more of these. And this has been fun, so I hope you guys don't mind. It's going to go a little long today, probably more than an hour because I'm not through my news yet. I'm going to look at the Streamlabs real quick, make sure we're good to go there. I'm going to do something slightly different than my usual thing, and I'm going to admit to some slight anger, and I want to talk about that in just a moment, and I'm going to talk about politics, so if you guys don't want to hear about that, I'm gonna do that at the end of the show. I'm going to get into the other stuff first, but at the end of the show, I'm usually going to wrap with comics and pull lists, but at the end of the show, I want to talk about the state of the world, but it's going to get political, so duck out if that's not your shit, but I'll warn you first. I've got some Streamlabs over here. Smack Talk 8 saying, hey Coy, which Patreon tier unlocks the video? Oh, that was from, let's see. This is amazing. I love your comments so much. Alright, hey Coy, which Patreon tier unlocks the video of you serenading us all with your wholesome rendition of a soft rock classic while dressed as Wonder Woman? All half jokes aside, keep being positive. Now, Smack Talk has the current record for most consistent Streamlabs and most consistent making me laugh in Streamlabs, because I can actually picture myself dressed as an 80s Wonder Woman singing, man, what soft rock classic would be my jam? I feel like Jukebox Hero is a little hard to be soft rock, but I feel like Jukebox Hero in a Wonder Woman outfit with like rays of light and shit fucking feels right. It's up here. That's the Patreon tier. It's up here, but I appreciate you. Jukebox Hero in a Wonder Woman outfit is magical. And dude, thank you for your consistent Streamlabs. Those like $10 adds up so quick to me where I'm at, so thank you. That is appreciated. Oh, also, speaking of $10 adding up quick, I'm going to be doing a new show, hopefully on Wednesdays, maybe as soon as tomorrow. Mark Riley, I'm sure you guys know Mark Riley. I did a show with him a few weeks back. Jesus. And he does this thing where he does wine, where you can throw $20 at him, and he gets a $20 bottle of wine, and that show is from you, so you are getting that wine. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do $20, I'm going to get some craft beers, and I'm going to put your name on the craft beers, and I'm going to do craft beers and comic books. And I'm going to do a show where once we're not quarantined, I have a guest, but it's going to be me buzzed or drunk talking about comic books. You guys can throw suggestions at me. I'll run through story arcs. We're going to get guests. They can ask me questions. I'm going to try to get people that don't know comics. So Mark Riley's going to be one of them. I'm going to have Roxy on. She does know comics, so we're going to be talking. But Craft Beers and Comic Books is a show I want to start doing on Wednesdays once the world's a little more balanced. But that's going to be a thing that's going to be all from you guys. So he does $20 for wine. I'm going to do $20 for beer. I'll even trade fucking receipts. But that's where the money's going to go. And I'm going to do Craft Beers and Comic Books. Get a little tipsy with you guys in this madness and talk comic books. I think it'd be a fun way to go through some crazy arcs. But Smack Talk 8, thank you very much. Keep thinking of that Wonder Woman soft rock glory. All right, back to Zenews. Let's see. We're going to talk about Onward. Right now on Disney Plus is... No, sorry, not right now. Right now on VOD is Onward. Soon on Disney Plus, April 3rd, you can pick up Onward on The Madness. My mom saying I'm drunk is funny as hell is weird, by the way. My mom's in the chat. Stephanie Jandreau supporting her son. I'm 31. I can drink legally for 10 years, and I've only been drinking for 17, fuck. However long I've been drinking. Legally, completely legally. Thank you, Mom. Much obliged. Onward was so much fun. My Onward review is... It is a very, very heartfelt take on the world of D&D through magic that feels like magic. I loved the commentary on how we kind of evolve out of magic through cynicism. It's a very common trope in these type of films, but they handled it really well. I think the more we learn, the less we know, and I think that's tricky. I think we can not know what it means to be a person because we're too involved in what it means to be invested in the science of things. I think science is important. I think intelligence is vital. I read for a living. I value intelligence. I think being smart is the best superpower. It's why I love that Marvel movies support superpowers of intelligence. I'm not saying be dumb. I'm not saying lean into being dumb. The government's doing that plenty. I am saying that we live in a time where knowing too much can make you forget what it means to be imaginative, and finding the balance of that. I think that magic is letting your imagination be more powerful than anything else, and I think Onward is that movie. I think Onward is an expression of imagination. It's creativity come to life, and it was so much fun. I didn't expect a lot out of it, and at one point I cried as a van drove. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but I cried, and it was about a van. You'll see. I love the story of brotherhood. I have a little brother, and it made me think of my little brother. I love my dad dearly, and then obviously it's a story about fathers and sons. It's a really, really cool entire situation. The music's great. The experience is fantastic. I really loved it. So I don't want to do any spoilers because a lot of people are going to wait to see it on Disney+. Maybe I'll do a spoiler review as like a breakout video. But it's a movie about fathers and sons. It's about brotherhood. It's about family. It's got a lot of great supporting characters. The leads are fantastic. Tom Holland and Chris Pratt do a fantastic job. There's so much heart. It's a Pixar movie. It lives up to the Pixar brand, and that is saying a lot. Pixar movies do not disappoint, and it has earned that Pixar branding. Check out Onward as soon as you can. I really, really enjoyed it. I see Joey Rasul in the live chat. Joey, this is on my phone. I did a beta test for that, the settings we talked about, and it worked, but I couldn't see the quality before I had time to stream, so I didn't get to watch back the playback, but it seemed to work. It didn't crash. I looked for those frames dropped. Anyway, I'll text you this after. It seemed to work, but I didn't have time to test, so this is on my phone. I'm using my phone with my impromptu. Guys, want to know the science of this? I'm on my phone, sitting on my kitchen counter island with a bunch of coasters propping my phone up, because I'm a professional. A goddamn professional. Okay, so Onward is definitely worth checking out. It has all the heart of Pixar. It is a magic time. It's very, very good. Do check it out. In the live chat, have any of you guys seen Onward? I'm very curious, because I'm going to check them live chat questions, because this is probably going to be an hour and 20-minute stream for whoever wants to hang out. That's what's going to happen. Let's see. What is the chat saying? Let's see. Okay, people excited. I've met Coy a couple times. I was too drunk to notice who he was. Jake, man, you're good at New York, and I gotta say. Okay. Everyone being excited and behaved. You guys all were very behaved at the Smith in New York. But yeah, that was a good whiskey-filled time. Ian saw Onward in theaters. What'd you think of it, man? My cat is now on my lap. Sorry for the distraction. Okay. Also, I'm thinking about doing a kind of a like quarantine video about my movies. I think I'm gonna dive into like my collection, talk about my favorites, talk about why they're my favorites, and I might do that in between regular shows, because the news is either going to be not pop culture based, or I don't want to dwell in bad news. So on days there's not a lot of news, I'm probably going to dive into my collection. So if that's something you'd be interested in, do let me know. Seriously, let me know what you guys want to see. I'm going to go into my movies, I'm going to go into my comics, I'm going to do that sort of thing while we're all in quarantine. I'm going to make as much content as I can. Might be more than twice a week, but I'm going to make stuff like that happen. I'm excited to share with you guys. All right. Over to, let's see. News today. We talked Onward. High Fidelity. Guys, High Fidelity is a dope show. I had not heard anything about High Fidelity. I love the movie, the John Cusack movie, obviously. And in a clever bit of casting, now the female lead from the movie's daughter is the lead of the show, which is dope. Zoe Kravitz is the lead of the new High Fidelity, and she's such a powerhouse. I didn't realize how deep my crush on Zoe Kravitz was, but man oh man, is my crush on Zoe Kravitz real. That whole show is just a incredible performance by her. She's got so much heart. She's got such this beautiful exposed heart, and she's funny, she's clever, like the character. She's also human. Like, she has a lot of flaws. She has a lot of insecurity. She makes mistakes. I loved the structure of the show. I loved, if you've seen the movie, they go back through exes. I loved that the show has fun playing with the tropes of exes. I loved that it felt like dating. I loved that it felt like living in the city. I loved how real the show felt. It felt like a day in the life, and I love day in the life content. I love the escapism of the show, and most importantly, Questlove killed the music. The song selections in this are insane. It's a show about music. It's a record store show. It is a show that there's an entire episode about playlists, because if you remember the movie, there's an entire segment of the movie about playlists. So obviously a playlist is very important to this show, and the playlist of this show is just perfect. I've been listening to it on Spotify nonstop. It is a 9-hour playlist, and it is brilliant. So I somehow, High Fidelity went over my radar. I'm in love. The show is fantastic. I watched all episodes. I haven't binged a show in a very long time. Since, what was the last show I binged? It was a binge, Stranger Things? Yeah, Stranger Things Season 3 was the last time I watched a show in less than a week. I watched all of this. Granted, it was 4.5, 5 hours, because it's only a half-hour show. I watched it all in a week. I haven't done that in almost a year. Check out High Fidelity. It's on Hulu. Let me know what you guys think. I was really impressed. The music, the tone, the acting, it's delightful. I also love that it introduced me to new actors, because there were some unknowns in it that were really fantastic. Okay, we've got a super chat. We got, Jax Packet. Jax Packet says, ideal 5 to 7 people Marvel hero team. Ooh. Zoe and Coy forever in the live chat. I support that. Thank you. Let's see. 5 to 7 people Marvel team. Okay, let's go with... I mean, obviously Spider-Man, because he's my guy. Deadpool, because he's my other guy. Those are two. Those are default though. So, and that'll be like the comedy aspect. That'll be they're not the powerhouse characters, but they're gonna be the levity for all the darkness of the rest. Like they're gonna be the the jester of the team, which is good. That's important for any good team has those characters to make the rest flow. Storm, because I think a good team leader is what makes a good team book, and she's an incredible leader. And she also would not tolerate fools. So Deadpool and Spider-Man would drive her crazy, especially their dynamic. Another powerhouse player, Thor, especially Donny Cates' Thor. I think the current Thor would be a great addition to that. And you have a lot of sky power, because you've got a lot of lightning-based stuff. So you got that whole situation. So Thor, Storm, Deadpool, Spidey, Chamber. I think you need one it's interesting. His power set's going to be confusing. Like, it's going to be used in interesting ways. It's going to be a creative power set, 'cause he's got some telekinetic abilities, and that'll be helpful with the rest of the just strong powerhouse characters. Okay, that's 5. Who else do I want on this team? Jessica Jones, because I want a non-superpowered character on the team to be kind of the underdog, the face, the connecting. Like, when you read the book, you connect to that character. And I think that's Jessica Jones. And finally, okay, that's 6. Who is my last character? Man. This isn't easy. Let's say those 6. I can't think of the last one's too hard. Let's say those 6. Those are my 6. Yeah, those are my 6 characters for now. Okay. It's a weird team. It's real weird. It's a great question. It's a real weird team. Okay. I don't even know what they'd be. I don't even know what they'd fight. But they do it. Gosh darn it. They do it. Ooh, maybe Jessica Drew. Because Jessica Drew and Jessica Jones' relationship is interesting, because Jessica Jones was invented because Jessica Drew rights were harder to get for Bendis. So I don't think I've actually seen them on a team together for any length of time. And I think that'd be fun. Jessica Jones, Jessica Drew, Storm, Deadpool, Spider-Man, and Chamber. Weird team. Okay. Back to the news. Thank you for making me think that way, man. Jax Packet. That was some weird thought, and I enjoyed it. I did say Storm. She's the leader. Faux show. Okay. Let's go over to more newsy things. So I was High Fidelity. Oh, Community. Okay, I started Community today. Community is a fantastic show. I had never seen it. I had intentionally saved it for when I was in a bad way. We're going to get into the aggression and bad way stuff at the end of the show, because I like to be positive. And that way you can turn it off. You don't want to hear my political opinions, which I totally understand. I don't want to hear most people's political opinions, but if you do want to hear them, I want you to have that option. Community. Community is a fantastic show that I saved for years. Donald Glover is one of my favorite creators on the planet. He's one of my favorite musicians, one of my favorite comedians, one of my favorite actors. He is all of the things that I enjoy in pop culture, and he does them all better than most. He's an incredible powerhouse performer. I was lucky enough to work with him on a movie way back in the day, and his intelligence is I'm rarely around people that are so intelligent I'm intimidated, but he has like multiple hard drives. Like he has more RAM than most people. He's able to process information while actively doing other tasks in a way that I've never experienced. He is an absolute incredible actor. It was on this movie called The To-Do List, this tiny little indie, The To-Do List way back in the day. But he is incredible, and I don't use that word often for people. He's an incredible talent. So I've been really looking forward to Community. I love Atlanta. I loved his Deadpool ideas. I'm just generally a fan of Donald Glover. So the expectations were high for this show. I didn't expect to like the rest of the cast instantly. I thought I'd be waiting for Donald Glover. Now, I understand Donald Glover is probably going to be used more as the show goes along because of when the show was made and his trajectory as a talent. He's not in it a lot in the first 2 episodes. When he's in it, I'm very excited. But I also really am enjoying the rest of the cast. The rest of the cast is also brilliant. I'm not as familiar with, I think it's Alison Brie, and she's great so far. I'm not as familiar with Yvette Nicole Brown. I mainly know her from hosting stuff at Comic-Con, so it's really cool to see where she came from. The pilot's directed by the Russo brothers. To seeing them do straight-up comedy has been amazing. Joel McHale's great so far. Chevy Chase, I know, is a monster person, but he's been funny so far, which is a bummer because I'm a big Fletch fan. I think Fletch are both fantastic movies. The 80s were Chevy Chase-tastic. It's a bummer that he's apparently a monster. But on the show, his character's great, so I'm really enjoying that dynamic. The pilot was really smart. You got all the people in the same room in a very creative way. Abed is hilarious. I don't know that actors work other than this. I'm very excited to learn it. And then, obviously, the second episode, once they know what the show's going to be, it already has more room to breathe. Ken Jeong is really funny as the Spanish teacher. It instantly knows itself, and then as soon as they got picked up, it's just flowing. So, a lot of people said it picks up in the second season. I'm already excited with the first, but I'm someone that likes The Office season 1, not as much as season 2 on, but I liked The Office season 1. I think Parks and Rec season 1 is great, and it gets better and better. So, I guess I can see the goals of these shows early, and I can see what they're going for. I'm digging Community. I'm only 2 episodes in. I promised you guys a lot of Twitter people, tweeters, were wanting me to talk about it, so I'm going to jump in and talk about it when I do these shows. So I'll let you guys know where I'm at. I just finished episode 2, just saw the Ken Jeong eccentric Spanish class episode where they do the big performance presentation at the end. Inspired, funny, enjoying it. Community is great so far. 41 minutes into the show, very much enjoying it. I also watched the Dark Knight trilogy this week, which we talked about earlier, and my last bit of news I want to discuss before I go into comic books is this week there was a rumor that Daredevil, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, was going to appear in Spider-Man 3. I think it was a Kevin Smith rumor. I think Kevin Smith heard something, got excited, wanted to talk about it. I don't doubt Kevin Smith, because he's Kevin Smith, man. I will never doubt Kevin Smith. I don't think it's likely, because the Netflix rights may be expiring soon, but the continuity complications are insane. I can't imagine what it would be like to try to get that all settled, what continuity would even look like with all those juggling pieces. I would be so happy if Charlie Cox was Spider-Man's lawyer. But it's one of those ideas that's so, like, it sounds like a great fan idea that it might be. Like, it might have just gotten too far in the rumor mill. When you look at the end of Spider-Man 2 and he's going to need a lawyer, I know a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. I think it's much more likely that She-Hulk ends up being his lawyer, because She-Hulk's getting a Disney Plus show. That's going to be a lawyer. They want to keep Spider-Man tied in. I think if we're tying this into another lawyer, it's way more likely to be Jennifer Walters, and that'd be a lot of fun. Whoever they cast as Jennifer Walters popping up in Spider-Man 3, it's a great way to introduce your character softly and then have her Disney Plus show come out a year or 2 later. I would put money on Jennifer Walters first. Still unlikely. I still think it's 1 to 100 odds. But I think it's better odds than the 1 to 1,000 for Charlie Cox's Daredevil. As much as I'm a hashtag Save Daredevil guy, I do think it's more likely to have Jennifer Walters. I'd love to see it. I really, really hope I'm wrong, but that's where I'm at with all of that. Let's see. So yeah, that's the rumor of the week. I just wanted to comment on it because a lot of people have been asking me on Twitter. But that is where I'm at. Let's see. No more Streamlabs. Quickly checking. Abed is in the MCU. Yeah, he popped up in one of the Russo brothers movies. And a bunch of them are. It's been actually really funny. I saw them as these cameos in the Russo brothers movies. It's been funny seeing them on the show because obviously I know that tie-in. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Want to talk about comics? Let's talk about comics. Let's kick it over to comics. All right. Let's see. My phone stopped giving me the live chat, so I actually can't even see it. So if I'm missing anything, I will try to check back, and also Streamlabs is the best way to definitely have me see it. Okay, my favorite comic books from this week. I'm up to date, y'all, which means it is Tuesday, which means the pull list I give you today is for tomorrow's books. Got to get them digitally or wait, but these are the books I recommend for tomorrow. But first, the comics that already came out, I am up to date for the first time since starting Koi Cubed. It feels so good. The comics from the week of March 11th, because today is not yet a new comic book week. Sorry, March 18th. March 18th books, 6 days ago. My favorites were Archie, number 712. Archie has been such a good run since I picked it up at 700. I am not usually... I've never read Archie until this run, and I'm really, really enjoying it. My buddy Trevor's on the show Riverdale, so he suggested I try the Archie comics. I'm loving them. Archie 712 is a great time. Archie's dating Sabrina, yes, the teenage witch, and it is a fantastic time all around. We also have, from last week, Batman number 91. James Tynion IV is continuing his great first arc on Batman. A lot of good rogues, a lot of good intrigue, a big new villain. It's a fun time. It's really dense. There's a lot going on. Captain Marvel number 16. Captain Marvel is a very powerful character. I find her very hard to write well. I don't write her, but I mean, like, when I'm reading her, I'm like, what's her power set? She's kind of got that Super Saiyan thing where it's like, I guess Super Saiyan level 2 then. Like, it's hard to level her up. But I'm really enjoying this arc because she has to fight a bunch of Avengers, and it's for a logic in comics, logic-based reason, so it's a good run. Fantastic Four number 20 is a Human Torch foundational issue. He is now with his soulmate. He met an alien on an interdimensional planet that he's mated with, and it's a really good run. I'm not usually a Dan Slott guy, but I'm really enjoying this Dan Slott. And I have nothing against Dan Slott, the man. I didn't like his Spider-Man, and that's a lot of what I know him for. So I'm enjoying liking him in another book because I've heard he's a great writer, and this is something I'm totally enjoying. Let's see. We got Plunge number 1 and 2. I missed Plunge number 1. It is a DC Black Label Hill House book. Hill House has been an incredibly consistent imprint. It's a horror-based imprint over at DC Comics. I'm not usually a horror comic guy, but I've been checking out all of these and loving them. I interviewed Joe Hill at Comic-Con. He got excited about the run that he was promoting, so his excitement made me excited, so I started picking them up, and he was totally right. This one's actually written by Joe Hill. He's Stephen King's son, and he knows horror for obvious reasons. So I've been really enjoying his run, and these two books are great. It's like an exploration salvage mission in the Arctic, and things go awry. It's a great little horror setup. The Resistance number 1 is one of the craziest timed comics of all time. It is about a worldwide pandemic. The cover is the Earth on fire that turns into a skull. It is apropos. It is a scary read because of the world we're living in. It is so good. It is by J. Michael Straczynski, who's an incredible writer, wrote one of my favorite Spider-Man arcs. He actually wrote the arc that I suggested Jake Gyllenhaal read on Comic Book Shopping. I love J. Michael Straczynski's run from like 30 to 38 in Volume 2 of Spider-Man. Fantastic run. Art by Mike Deodato Jr., who is a beautiful artist. I love Mike Deodato's work. It's a really strong debut book. Runaways 31. Runaways has been consistent for a very long time. It continues to be. This concludes an arc. Something is Killing the Children number 6. This book is so pulpy and noiry and fantastic. The texture of this book is really great. I'm digging this book, and you're not that far behind if you haven't checked it out. Issue number 6 continues to be great. It's also another James Tynion book, but it's an indie, so support indie comics too. It's a really strong book. Spider-Woman number 1. I think Spider-Woman's one of the most slept-on characters ever. Jessica Drew, especially as a mom. I love Jessica Drew as a mom. I think her being a mom superhero that has to get home to her kid, her dating while being a single mom was a great... the Jessica Drew run where she was dating Porcupine and trying to be a superhero while being a stay-at-home mom is one of my favorite Marvel comics, and this issue 1's great, so I'm going to see where this goes. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 9. I love this book. It's real weird. It's an anthology book. It's got like 10 different comics going in at once. It is beautifully drawn, beautifully written, brilliant stuff, very funny. And then my last pull from last week is X-Force number 9. Probably my favorite of the post-Hoxpox X-Men books is X-Force. It continues to impress me, its brutality. In this book, there's a scene where Wolverine and Daken are kind of like doing shots, but they're doing like stab themselves in the head to take themselves out. Like, it's stupid bro stuff, but that's what you do if you had a healing factor. I could see bros doing that, so it's a really funny... I'm digging it, and I mean, I got Wolverine right here talking. Let's go over... So yeah, I'm a fan of X-Force. It is very, very well done so far. Let's see what you guys are enjoying in the comments. What are you guys reading? I hope it's Daredevil. Probably talking about Spider-Man thing. Did I watch The Soup with Joel McHale? Occasionally. Somebody told Riley and Dorina their dream has come true. I don't know what that means. I have not heard when Saga is coming back, but I love that you're asking this group of people because they would probably know. Because this is a very pro-Saga group of people, which makes me very happy. All right, let's kick it over to comics coming out tomorrow. This is tomorrow's pull list. My comics I'm most excited for. Tomorrow, we've got Action Comics 1021, Basketful of Heads number 6, Batman Curse of the White Knight number 8, the final issue of Curse of the White Knight, Batman Superman number 8, one of the prettiest books on the shelves, Detective Comics 1021, more Two-Face goodness. I love where the Two-Face arc is going in this title. Far Sector number 5 continues to be a beat cop Green Lantern book. I'm going to give a little synopsis in each of these because a lot of them. Giant Size X-Men Nightcrawler number 1. We had Giant Size X-Men Jean Grey and Emma Frost number 1, which was a beautiful book. Almost no dialogue, just paintings, just art. It was powerful, it was great. I think Nightcrawler is going to be much the same. We also know Nightcrawler is struggling with his faith, because he doesn't know what religion means to mutants when they know the power Krakoa has. I'm very curious in the theological impact of this one-off. Hellions number 1, a new Hoxpox book. Hellions was the team that Emma Frost led back in the day, so I'm really curious what this Hellions book is, because Emma Frost is having a time over on Krakoa. Immortal Hulk number 33. Immortal Hulk continues to be one of the best books on the shelves. A horror Hulk comic. John Constantine Hellblazer number 5. One of the most fun written dialogue books on the shelves. You can hear their accents. You can feel the grit of the page. It is palpably gross. It feels like hell. I love this book. Jessica Jones Blindspot number 6 concludes the first arc / ends this miniseries. I'm not sure which. I've been really digging it. She writes the hell out of Jessica Jones. Kill Lock number 4, a great indie comic from a writer-artist combo. It's one dude writing and drawing. It's about robots who have been cursed to be killed if they betray. It's dense. It's hard to describe because it sounds cheesy when I describe it. He's done an incredible job making a story I didn't think would work very well. Legion of Superheroes number 5. I finally get this book. It took through issue 4. Issue 4 finally hooked me. I'm now very intrigued. Marvel's Black Widow number 1. Marvel's Black Widow is Marvel's video game side. So Marvel's Spider-Man Black Cat is the PS4 Spider-Man. So this is Marvel's Black Widow, which is the Square Enix Black Widow from the game coming out. So this is like a prequel to the game, so that intrigues me. This is the Black Widow, one of those. Punisher Soviet number 6 concludes the Warren Ellis miniseries. Warren Ellis writes one of the most brutal Frank Castles in the game. I'm not big on war comics, but this one hooked me. Revenge of the Cosmic Ghost Rider number 3. All of those words in a sentence means I'm excited. Road to Empyre Kree Skrull War number 1. The big event comic at Marvel is apparently the Kree Skrull War Road to Empyre book. Road to Empyre is going to be this big crossover thing. There's another big event book that hasn't been announced yet that I'm more excited for, but this is the one they've started advertising. This is the beginning of all the tie-ins, so if you want to see what that book's going to be about, this is the first of that big event book of the summer. Sex Criminals 28. I'm so glad Sex Criminals is back. It's about people that when they bone, they can pause time, so they use that to rob banks, and they discover an entire undercurrent of other people with boning powers. Wolverine number 2. It's a new Wolverine book. Gotta check it out. X-Men number 9. Jonathan Hickman continues his awesome X-Men run. And finally, X-Men Fantastic Four number 3. That's right. Chip Zdarsky writing X-Men and Fantastic Four, and the Dodsons on art. It is a beautiful book for the ears, if you read it out loud, and the eyes, because the art is great. It is a very, very good time. Also, some trades this month. Dead Eyes has its first trade. Jerry Duggan's indie book over at Image. Batman White Knight has a hardcover out, which I can't afford, but really want to get. So when I can afford it, I'm going to get the hell out of that, because I love the White Knight book, but it's expensive. But if you got the money, get it. Uncanny X-Force has an Omni. Rick Remender's X-Force is one of the best X-Men of all time, ever, period. It's got an Omni out. And there is a ton of, obviously, the weekly books. Whew! All right. There's a lot of good comics out, guys. Read them digitally if your comic stores are closed. Put them on your pull list if your comic stores are open. Pick them up curbside, whatever you need to do. There is so much goodness. I'm going to quickly check the live chat. I only lost 10 of you guys when I started ranting about comics, which means most of you guys are here for comics, or at least are interested in my excitement. That makes me flattered and honored. That is so rad. What is my favorite comic of 2020? Ooh, I don't even know. There's been too many. Shit. Favorite comic of 2020? I can't possibly know. I'll get back to you on that. Someone tweet that at me. Remind me. I need to check that out because I do not know. Let's see. Refunds and some lawsuit. Ace Comic-Con. What? I'm trying. Someone said to check something with my Streamlabs. I'm going to check Streamlabs because I should have done that first. Please hold for Streamlabs clicking. Loading. What do we got? Okay. Ace Comic-Con. Let's see. Scrolling. Sorry for the delay. If you like the Archie comics, Garth McMurray, what up, man? If you like the Archie comics, have you read Jughead series from years ago? My friend Erica Henderson won an Eisner for her artwork in the series the same year she won an Eisner for artwork on Squirrel Girl. I think you'd enjoy Jughead. Dude, I've not read Jughead, but dude, your friend won an Eisner. Huge congratulations. That's incredible. Damn. Good for her. Congratulations, Erica. I will check out Jughead on your recommendation. That is going to be on my pull list. Thank you for telling me, Garth. I will absolutely be checking that out, and congratulations to your friend. I am now also checking about this Ace Comic-Con thing. I don't know what... Oh, that's amazing. Someone shipped me and Zoe on Twitter already, which makes me very happy. All the people excited for the community madness. I did not see this Ace Comic-Con thing. Let me look it up real quick so I can jump on that before we wrap up this here stream. Ace Comic-Con. Okay. Dear Ace fans, friends, and family, Ace is always... This is from Ace Comic-Con. Ace just tweeted out 20 minutes ago. Ace has always strived to give the fans an exceptional experience and will always fight for them. As many of you know by now, Ace filed a lawsuit in federal court to maintain and protect these values. While the company cannot comment on any active litigation, we will continue to maintain our steadfast commitment to the fans will always have their backs. Regarding refunds to Ace Northeast, general admission tickets have already begun being refunded from the universe without concern. Amazing. And those will continue to process as planned in their entirety over the next couple weeks. Good on you, Ace. Ace is working diligently to ensure that every one of its customers gets a full refund in the wake of the event shut down by the government due to the coronavirus. Thank you for your patience and understanding during this time. Damn, some spicy with the government stuff. I don't know what that's about, obviously. I said they can't tell me. I do love that Ace is getting ahead of some shit and basically saying they're going to help you out and make sure that you're taken care of. That's really cool. I've wanted to go to Ace Comic-Con forever. Ace Boston is on my bucket list. I really must attend. But them having the integrity to say that as well makes me love them even more. That's really, really cool. Good on you, Ace Comic-Con. Hell yeah. And if anyone knows anyone over at Ace, I am dying to go. That's a really, really rad. Thanks for sending me that, Edward. Haskell, much obliged. Thank you. That's how I got that so quick. Yeah, that's some really crazy stuff. Anyway, I will keep you guys posted as that story develops, because involving the government and refunds is a hell of a tricky time. People talking comics in the live chat, keep that shit up. In fact, dude, damn, you read Dead Eyes in one sitting. That's dope. That makes me very happy. Keep crushing that shit. Varin asks if I've checked out any of the post-crisis shows post-crisis. I've not, man. I have a hard time keeping up with TV. I don't watch a lot of TV. The fact that I'm watching Community for the first time kind of is where I'm at with TV. The show came out in 2009 and I'm watching it now. I'm behind on most shit. I haven't finished Jessica Jones season 3, and that was almost a year ago. I'm bad at watching TV. So I watch movies more. 2 hours is more containable. I probably won't watch all of them. Post-crisis, I watch the event stuff. I watch the select episodes I hear are good. When my friend Jess was on Flash, I watched all that because I was supporting my friend, but it's really hard, and I'm probably going to be watching, Flash is the one, if I'm going to watch one, that's what I'm watching, because my friends, I know the Flash cast now, and they're fantastic. I am checking my Twitter again, because Edward said I should. Let me find. I have so much going on my Twitter, man. But yeah, so I have not watched those. I will be checking those out. But I have not, unfortunately, had the moment to do all of that madness. This is a very tricky thing to try to keep up with while I'm doing a live chat, because I have 87 notifications in the last hour, and I cannot find anything about what y'all are. Let me actually just go over to... This is the excitement of a live chat when I'm trying to Edward, I know you're in my DM, so I'm going to go click on your page, because it's probably easier to go to your page than search through all my notifications, and that way I can get to that news, because I'm very intrigued. What is the craziness? Let's see, good sir. Let's see. Jesus. Okay, Hollywood Reporter. Thank you, Edward. Let's dive into this. Hollywood Reporter reports... and this is all coming direct from the Hollywood Reporter. I cannot speak to the truth of it. I'm just reading this madness. Ace was expecting big things for their May 20 to 22nd con in Boston. Chris Evans, Tom Hiddleston, Chris Hemsworth were all expected to attend. I did not know about Hemsworth. That's crazy. In a complaint filed Monday in New York federal court. Jesus. Grotix of stealing millions of dollars of customer refunds. Additionally, the lawsuit alleges that Ace gave Grotix $680,000 to facilitate refunds, only to be advised that the refund plan no longer worked. Fuck that. Grotix provided the ticket service and event management software. According to the complaint, Grotix has been compensated based on percentage of sales, and the two companies had an agreement with each other covering the process of refunds in the event of cancellation. That contract also contained a force majeure provision, which Ace says excused performance when the parties were prevented from living up to obligations by reason of government action. That's force majeure, usually. Ace says his Boston event was shaping to be one of the biggest Comic-Cons ever until Mask-Gov Charlie Baker declared a state of emergency, and that was the right thing to do. Parties agreed that all customers would receive a full refund within 30 days. Ace refunded the $680,000 for Grotix use, and Ace made the announcement on March 11th on Facebook and Twitter that all customers would receive a refund. But less than a week later, Ace said that Grotix corporate Patron Technologies said, quote, advising it that it was the only... quote, advising it was not only withholding the money, transferring it to the refunds, but also demanding more money from Ace in regards to its own fees. Fuck. On March 17th, Ace said, quote, patrons sought to attach and withdraw $2.3 million from Ace bank accounts in the middle of the night. Fortunately, this unauthorized attack on Ace's bank accounts, which would have jeopardized the company and all but destroyed any chance of refunds, was prevented. Yo. The losses to Ace Comic-Con due to the defendant's improper conduct will amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars in improper transaction fees and even more, much greater harm to its reputation with the inevitable failure to meet its refund obligations. Yo, if that's true, fuck that other company. That's some bullshit. I hate when people try to screw people over in times of duress. Like, we're in an actual situation where that's so fucked up. Like, people are dying and people are trying to make money off it. And that's you know what? I'm gonna say, this is where I'm gonna get political. I said I was gonna do it at the end of the episode. This is a great alley-oop. People trying to profit off people dying is the single most fucked up thing humanity does. If people are hurt, if people are suffering, money shouldn't fucking matter. There shouldn't be a single piece of your brain that thinks, like, how does this affect me financially? Guys, I am saying this as someone that lives in a garage. I'm living in 275 square feet. I have a industrial sink in my bathroom that's also my kitchen sink. I brought my outdoor fridge inside. I have no other sink. I have no stove. I'm living in a fucking garage. I'm not in a position of money. I'm not in a position of comfort. I'm not in a position of any sort of repute. Fuck anyone who is trying to take money from people in times of duress. It's disgusting. It's despicable. I save every dollar I can. I don't live very lavishly, and I would still much rather give $20 I don't have to someone sick than make $20 while someone's sick. That's so fucked up. Now, no one knows anyone anything. Like, individuals, we don't owe each other anything. But if we're paying to live in a company that is the American government, that company owes us shit. If we pay taxes and if we do our jobs as citizens, the government's supposed to protect us. That's what government does. So in these times, I'm in full support of trying to have, like, utilities frozen or anything for people out of jobs. I'm out of work. There's no public events. All my jobs are public events. Pop culture is my job. Pop culture's on pause. I'm fucked. A lot of us are fucked. The fact that we're in a position of us being fucked, and I'm reading the news stressed for others because they're in the hospital and getting $35,000 bills because it's more important that the elderly die off to keep the fucking economy alive. Fuck that. I've never in my life been more disgusted by watching press conferences. I've watched every press conference this week. I've been more and more repulsed by the fucking concept of what this attempt at late model capitalism is doing. It's absolutely despicable. We're literally telling people that it's better to die because you're old to have your grandkids have an economy. Fuck that. Money's made believe. We invented money. The gold standard's gone. Those little pieces of fucking paper you have in your wallet aren't worth shit. We made it up. The fucking the concept of the stock market is just fucking numbers. I'm not an economist. I don't know shit about shit. I'm gonna fucking own that. But at the end of the day, I know that a human life is worth more than any amount of fucking money. So the fact that we're living in a time where we're hedging our bets for how many people die versus how much this fucking money thing matters, it doesn't fucking matter. This country is too big for the amount of people it is. One person leading is impossible, much less one person with fucking mental health issues. It's fucking gross. So, I'm disgusted. I am so disgusted. I've been looking at how to become an Irish citizen. I'm Irish as fuck. And I don't love being an American right now. And I don't know if it's going to get any better anytime soon. It's a little tricky to become an Irish citizen. Not in the next 6 months because I can't leave. But, like, I'm not happy considering myself an American because we've become everything I was afraid we would quickly. And I once again, I don't want to get too political because I think... okay, so this is a funny tangent. Not Joseph Campbell, Jesus. Why is his name slipping right now? Campbell. Evil Dead Campbell. I met him years ago, and he gave me, like, advice about public personas, and he was saying, like, don't ever get into politics because you alienate 50% of your audience, and I think that quote has really stuck with me, and he's right. Like, I don't want to, if you disagree with my politics, I don't want us to have an issue. Like, I don't want you to see me any differently because I don't see you any differently. When I get into political arguments, I don't reframe my point of view about you, and I hope you don't reframe your point of view about me. It's my opinion. This is my take. I saved this for the end of the show. Bruce Campbell, thank you so much. Bruce Campbell told me you alienate 50% of your audience when you get into politics, and I totally agree with him. Thank you. I saved this for the end of the show, but I've not been saying anything for so long it's driving me insane. So this is the very end of the show, and this is just my shit. Human life is worth more than anything. Human life is what it means to be a human. Money isn't. Whether you have $100 million or $100, you're a person. You matter. Whatever you do for a living. Look at what has happened when when the world collapsed. We need grocery store attendants more than we need most other jobs. Everyone needs groceries right now, and we never respected our grocery store people. We need people that are running security at closed down buildings. No one is ever stopping and thanking a security guard for their job. We need cops to make sure things don't go fucked up. I'm not big on a lot of the things that make the news about cops. I think there's a lot to be restructured. But right now we need cops, and we're not thanking all of the jobs that we take for granted are the ones we've needed most. I talked about art earlier in the show. They cut art first when you run out of money. We've needed art more than ever. We need grocery store people. We need the health care infrastructure more than ever. Most of my family are EMTs and nurses and firefighters. Like, most of my family. I'm the weird one. Those people are actually saving lives and doing things that matter. People ask why I'm happy all the time. It's because I'm alive. Like, the fact that I'm alive is statistically improbable. The fact that I get to talk about comics is 1 in a million. The fact that I have an audience is insane. Thank you. But we can't live in a world where we value the dollar over a life, and the dollar is make believe. Like, it's just I've been watching too many press releases. I've been too embarrassed too often. I don't think we have competent leadership. I don't think that having someone that can barely speak without mentioning themselves and lying about how important they are and about things they didn't do is helpful. They fucking dumped stock when they knew the virus was going to be a problem and then lied to us and said it wasn't going to be and then caused death, and now they're trying to cause death before. They caused death in pre-production, they caused death in production, now they're causing death in post-production. They fucked this movie up. I'm going to stop because this isn't my brand. This isn't what I want to be. I'm angry. I think it's gross, and we are seeing too many people die because of incompetence. We're seeing too many people die because of profits. We're seeing too many people die because of the attempts to save face, and we're seeing too many people die because of ego. And I really hope we come out of this a better world. I hope we come out of this seeing your neighbor as a neighbor, seeing art as important, seeing society as vital, seeing sharing culture as key, seeing the fact that this affected the world. This pandemic didn't affect one type of people. This pandemic didn't affect one continent. It affected the entire world. When shit like this happens, we're all fucked. We need to be one, not this scattered bullshit. So I don't get political to separate from you. I don't get political to separate from half the country. I don't political to be red versus blue, because that's exactly what I'm saying is wrong. I think we need to get rid of these dividing lines and see humanity like we're all... It's cheesy as fuck, but we're all planet Earthers, right? Like, that's the citizenship we have. When this happened, we all got fucked. So, So much love to you guys. So much love to people that are putting their lives on the actual fucking line. My little brother works at Joann Fabrics, and he's selling people elastic bands so they can make masks, and he's putting his life on the line to be around people, and he shouldn't be. I don't want him there. My little sister works at Michael's. It's an essential place. She's putting her life on the line by selling people whatever they're getting. My mom was just at the movie theater a week ago. I did not want her working. This is insane. There's no dollar price in a life, and please just think about that when you make these decisions. Please stay home. Please do everything you can. If not for me, for you. If not for you, then for my grandparents. If not for my grandparents, then for your grandparents. People are dying in their 30s from this. People are dying in their 20s from this. It's not the elderly. It's everybody. Just take care of yourself. Stay home. Read some comics. Watch some movies. Tweet me the dope shit you're doing. Get creative. Much love. Much love. I want to end with positivity. Like, you guys, there's 72 of you in here. I appreciate you all so very much. We'll see. We'll see how this goes over when this drops on YouTube. The live chat is always a very different thing than the actual people that watch it later. So I fully expect my comments to be a hell of a thing. But yeah, much obliged. You guys are great, and I hope that this didn't offend, disrespect, or in any way alienate your opinions on things. I'm not saying red versus blue bullshit. I'm saying I've been personally affected by the leadership, and I've personally seen things happen because of it that I'm disgusted by. So I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. I hope you're okay. I hope you don't feel as alienated as I do, and I hope that you're not as nauseously upset at where we are as I am. I really hope that you're happier with things than I am. But I fucking love you for watching. Thank you. Like I said, read cool shit, watch cool shit, make cool shit, because when we're out of this, I can't wait to experience cool shit. Fuck yeah, you. So as ever, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of the Koi Pond. And thank you, as ever, comic books, for existing. Go do something rad. Thanks for listening to my rant. Much love, guys. So it would seem the universe decided that I shouldn't end on an angry note and has given us a post-credit scene. We haven't had a post-credit scene in some time, but the universe was like, hey, don't fucking end angry, bruh. Come back. And so here I am. I want to give you guys a very special Spidey post-credit scene. Spidey was with me for much of the end of that stream. Spidey kept me calm when I was getting hyphy. So I want to have some post-credit scene Spidey time with the lot of you. This is a post-credit scene of Spidey taking a bath. He's very happy. He's getting a bath. Oh, he's very good. He's very good at being a cat. Alright, so in all seriousness, the stream did not want to end. This was the post-credit happiness that makes me feel better. Like I said, I didn't want to end angry. Spidey is keeping me sane in quarantine. I hope all of you that are stuck home alone have an animal or friend or imaginary friend that feels real enough to keep them sane. It's really important in times like this, and Spidey is keeping me sane. The live chat numbers are skyrocketing back up, so I'm gonna jump off here before I've got... Oh man, there's almost as many as when I left, and that makes me very happy. Spidey's in the post-credit scene plugging his own movie. You goddamn right he is. This little Flarkin wants his solo adventure. He might just get one. Actually, you know what, guys? While the news is going to be on the darker end of the spectrum, let me know what kind of content you'd want, like via Twitter and in the comments here. Because I am planning on doing... I've got like 600 movies, so I'm planning on diving into the movies that I have and talking about why they're my favorites in my collection, why I believe in tangible media. Probably going to go through some of my hard copy comics. I've got about 6 long boxes over there. Maybe I'll go through my comics. Let me know what you guys want to see from Koi Cubed, because while the news is slow, I'm going to be diving into quite a bit more of like around the house stuff. So me and Spidey are going to be here. As ever, Edward Haskell pimping with Garth and everybody else with the thumbs. Thank you so much. Do spread the love. Tell ComiXology to sponsor me. Like, subscribe, comment, Streamlabs, Patreon, other buzzwords I'm supposed to say. Thank you. Thank you. Fucking thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you for existing. Sincerely. And as always, thank you, Spidey Cat, for making comics. He does them. He does them very well. Okay. Thanks, guys.